Bangkok Airways just ordered 30 new jets. Travel to Sicily is up 300%, and the Four Seasons Maui is booked solid for months. What's the cause of this? It's not a celebrity endorsement, it's not a viral TikTok trend, but a TV show about rich people behaving badly and, well, dying. Today, we're diving into how HBO's The White Lotus has become more than just a popular TV show. It's literally reshaping global tourism patterns. When the show's creator Mike White picks a location, he might as well be printing money for that country's tourism board. Thailand is experiencing a 65% spike in tourism searches and bookings right now. And that's not a coincidence, that's the White Lotus effect. But here's what's really wild. The show has surpassed almost every other HBO series in global popularity. Only Game of Thrones and The Last of Us rank higher. And while Succession averaged 8.7 million viewers per episode, The White Lotus is pulling in 12 million. That's absolutely mental. In this video, I'm going to break down how The White Lotus sparked global behavior shifts, what the data is telling us about the audience behind it, and why this kind of cultural influence is a blueprint for brands trying to capture attention today. So what makes the show about privileged people on vacation such a global sensation? Let's break it down. I mean, can we just appreciate Jennifer Coolidge for a second? I've loved her since she was Stifler's mom, and now we get her as this goofy, needy queen in The White Lotus. So before we get into the data and the analysis, I want you to drop a comment with your favorite White Lotus character of all time. Is anyone topping Tanya? Let me know.
These gays, they're trying to murder me.
So let's start by talking about the global reach of the show. The White Lotus isn't just big in America. Using audience analysis tools, we can see massive viewership in Bangkok, Paris, Rio de Janeiro, and Sao Paulo. But what's really fascinating is how the show has created a massive online community. The main White Lotus subreddit has nearly 700,000 members who dissect every episode like they're solving an actual murder. And look at this, YouTube searches related to The White Lotus hit 1.2 million in January alone. People aren't just watching the show, they're consuming hours of additional content about it. And the show's brilliance lies in its complicated characters, relatable themes, and breathtaking scenery. But it's the Easter eggs it leaves that have audiences fully engaged even after the episode is aired. This creates what media analysts call theorizing communities. These are people who feel compelled to discuss, analyze, and predict what happens next. It's the same phenomenon we saw in shows like Lost, Game of Thrones, and Westworld. Quick question, if you could stay at any White Lotus resort location, which would you choose? Hawaii, Sicily, or Thailand? Or maybe Brazil? More on that later. All right, let's talk about the audience breakdown of The White Lotus to understand who exactly is watching the show. And the data here is cool, so stick with me and let's nerd out for a minute. First, there's a massive segment driven by Lisa from Blackpink's appearance in season 3. Her star power brought in millions of K-pop fans who might never have watched the show otherwise. Then there's the celebrity enthusiast segment. The White Lotus is famous for its stacked cast, including actors we haven't seen in years. Remember when Jennifer Coolidge was just Stifler's mom, or the manicurist from Legally Blonde? Mike White really has a talent for resurrection. And interestingly, there's a significant political writer segment in the audience. This makes sense when you consider how each season subtly comments on wealth inequality, colonialism, and power dynamics. But here's where it gets surprising. There are a large segment of sports enthusiasts and Brazilian cinema lovers in the viewership. We'll talk more about the Brazil connection in a minute. Here's something fascinating. Data shows that the White Lotus fans predominantly have what psychologists call a neurotic personality type. Now, before you get offended if you're a fan of the show, this doesn't mean what you might think. People with this personality type tend to be deep thinkers who analyze social situations very carefully. And they're sensitive to microaggressions and subtle power dynamics, which is exactly what The White Lotus excels at portraying. The show constantly explores themes of morality, meaninglessness, and social anxiety. For viewers who think deeply about these issues, watching these rich characters struggle with the same fears can be strangely validating. And check this out, audience data shows peak online activity on Mondays, right after new episodes drop on Sunday nights. Fans aren't just watching the show, they're immediately jumping online to process what they've seen. So what makes The White Lotus work across so many different cultures and demographics? Our analysis points to 4 key factors. First, obviously the characters. When most of us can't relate to their wealth, we can relate to their insecurities, relationship struggles, and their existential crises. These are universal human experiences that really connect. Second is the themes. Fear of aging, mystery, class divides, cultural differences, all of these resonate globally. The show asks big questions like what makes life meaningful, and those transcend cultural boundaries. Third, of course, is the scenery. Let's be honest, we all love to travel, we all love to see beautiful places. If you don't, you're a little weird, but the show functions as a high-end travel documentary showcasing dream destinations in a way that appeals to our escapist fantasy. And finally, we all love watching the rich face consequences. There's a universal satisfaction in seeing privileged people discover that money can't shield them from everything. Now for our bold prediction. Do you remember earlier when I mentioned Brazil? Well, we think season 4 of The White Lotus should be set in Brazil, and we have the data to back this up. The show already has a massive Brazilian audience. Do you remember that Brazilian cinema lovers segment we mentioned earlier? That is not a coincidence. Brazil offers the perfect setting, stunning beaches for the resort scenes, the vibrant energy of Rio de Janeiro, and the mysterious allure of the Amazon rainforest. Could you imagine a White Lotus resort on the edge of the rainforest? The story possibilities are endless. Plus, Brazilian culture elements like Carnival would provide rich storytelling opportunities about cultural appropriation, celebration, and the same themes of wealth and privilege the show loves to explore. Beyond entertainment, the White Lotus effect offers a powerful blueprint for brands trying to capture attention in today's saturated market. First, it demonstrates how storytelling trumps direct selling. Thailand's tourism board couldn't have created an ad campaign with this much impact if they even tried. But by embedding their destination within a compelling narrative, they've achieved something far more valuable: authentic desire. Second, the show's Easter egg strategy creates what marketers call engagement loops. Viewers watch, discuss, theorize, and then re-watch to confirm their theories. Brands that build mystery and encourage community interpretation can achieve the same effect. And finally, it shows how cultural resonance beats demographic targeting. Instead of creating content for specific age groups or income brackets, The White Lotus taps into universal human concerns: status anxiety, mortality, meaning. These all transcend traditional market segments. So for brands struggling to break through, the lesson is clear. Create content that generates conversation, taps into deeper human concerns, and prioritizes cultural resonance over demographic precision. The White Lotus has achieved something remarkable. It's a show about entitled rich people that's managed to unite viewers across cultures, continents, and demographics. It proves that great storytelling, beautiful locations, and universal themes can create a truly global phenomenon, and its impact extends far beyond entertainment. The show has literally changed tourism patterns, boosted economies, and created a template for how television can influence global travel. So what do you think? Will Brazil be next? Where would you like to see The White Lotus go in season 4? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this analysis, please hit subscribe and let us know if you'd like to see more deep dives into the shows everyone's talking about. Bonus points if you tell us what show to break down next. And if you're a brand who would love access to the audience data we use to break down The White Lotus in this video, you can grab a free trial of audience in the comments. See you in the next video and appreciate you watching.